what's so important is that if they don't notice that they themselves need a shower, they won't notice that you don't want to talk to them. So, put two and two together, logic, and that's a sign to look out for. Stares at your twins instead of your eyes. I know this is for girls for now. We'll talk about for guys later. So yeah, this is like a general thing. It doesn't just happen in anime cons, but it happens everywhere in the world. If a guy isn't respectful enough to just like look you in the eye while you're talking to you, but instead they're kind of looking down at you and kind of going like. Yeah.
Be short of the
So, and he'll follow you around everywhere. That's another sign of a stalker. That's the number one thing about a stalker, is that they'll follow you. So if you are really nice and you carry a really good conversation, you just don't want to be mean and tell them to go away, they're going to follow you around every single panel, the masquerade, your hotel room, bathroom, So best way to avoid this is to be honest and be like, stop following me. Seriously, that's really creepy. That's self-explanatory. Yeah. This is just, generally what would be just a sleazy guy, regardless if he's a stalker or not. Kick him in the face if you see him. Or, if you see him doing it to another person, make sure you grab his camera. And, beat the crap out of him. He might have a Nikon, or a hand in a really nice SLR. You might want to take that yourself. Some of this stuff. So basically there's the fanboy who's really creepy and kind of just stands there and is weird and awkward and has bad social skills. And then there's the other fanboy that's kind of like Tamaki, in which he'll cling to you and be really like, oh my god, I love you, you're my best friend, and clop you, and then keep talking to you nonstop. So that's also really annoying. And then they'll follow you around because they think that you want to listen to what they have to say about everything that they kind of know. So yeah, watch out for these kind of guys. And you have the ones that stare at you. Generally this happens. Generally this happens when you're in a group of people and you know how that guy will just come up and be laughing with you guys for no reason. You're like, who is this person? Sometimes they'll end up being one of those guys who don't say anything and just kind of stare at you. And then it's like, hi, I'm Jack. Or like you. So, yeah. Alright, so cool fangirls are fun to hang around, they're respectful, and they don't force their yaoi obsession on you. Yeah, the yaoi obsession part. So crazy fangirl, Sasuke is really afraid. Yaoi obsession. Yaoi. They're gonna, it's fine that you like yaoi and all, but you really shouldn't try and force it on another person, like your yaoi paddle, you're hitting Cloud on the butt with it, or you're making this guy make out with Sora so you can take a picture of it, yeah. So don't force your yaoi obsession on other people, that's not cool at all. And you guys all know about the squealing. Yeah, I'm pretty sure later on today you're just gonna hear a bunch of 15-year-olds go, and then do the caramel dancing. Yeah, so that's really annoying. I mean, it doesn't mean that they're gonna follow you around or anything, but it's good to kind of stay at a far distance so your ears don't get ruined.
Run if you're lucky star.
Yeah. And talks really, oh my god, fast. So, so yeah, they'll keep talking. They won't stop. They won't leave you any moment to kind of slow down and say something for yourself. She'll just be like, oh my god, my fanfiction and this and that, and I really like Cloud, and oh my god, Final Fantasy, and oh my god, my cosplay. Seriously, my cosplay. I spent $100 on my cosplay, and I can't believe, oh my god. So yeah, just walk away. You don't even have to tell them shut up. Just walk. Go that way, because they won't even notice that you laugh. They just keep talking. And the gomps. Gomps are very painful, and sometimes they're welcomed, but most of the time they're not. And yeah, you guys know about it, right? Gomps. They're very painful. Do not.
I want that.
Oh yeah, and this. really nice, and then she started talking about her fan fiction, and she couldn't stop talking about it, and I had to listen to her entire story. I don't remember it now, thank God, but but really, you know, don't share your fan fiction. Don't. No one cares about it because it's your own personal story. All right, so how to avoid these kinds of people? Don't ever, ever give away your phone number. Yeah, so I had a lot of problems with giving away my phone number when I really didn't want to, or later on I regretted. At New York Anime Fest, there was this guy who was advertising like Shaolin Dojo Kung Fu stuff, and he was dressed up as like a ninja. And I don't know, he stopped me and was like, hey, do you want to learn Kung Fu? I'm like, well, I guess. And he kept talking to me, and then he was like, well, let me give you my number so you can give me a call in case you wanted to learn Kung Fu. I'm like, oh, okay, I guess. And then he's like, well, you should give me your number too. I'm like, okay, I guess. And so then he started calling me, and I didn't want that to happen, and that was awkward. So I couldn't say no in that situation. Just, you know, not wanting someone to call me. So this is like in real life also. If a person asks you out on the street or at a bar or at whatever, work, you know, don't give your number. Just give them your screen name or something. At least you can change your screen name. But phone numbers are a lot harder to change. Another instance was last year's Otakon. This guy I met at a panel seemed really cool at first, and I was like, hey, let's like exchange numbers so I can text you if I'm going to this panel or going to the rave or the masquerade. And then he started texting me really obscene messages that had like sexual connotations to it, and I was just like, okay, you gotta be kidding me. Like I'm not interested in you. I'm sorry if you got the wrong idea. So that kind of ended quick, so thank God. It didn't like move on into like stalkership. By the way, she might be at this con again. I mean, like this is a major problem. Like, don't ever give away your phone number. Plenty of people have had really bad stories where, you know, they'll give away a phone number and the person will just keep calling and texting and like causing your phone bill to go way up, and, you know, explaining to T-Mobile that, oh, I can't pay for this because it's not, like, you know, consensual. This other person did it. So that's the #1 rule. Don't give away your phone number ever. And don't be too nice. If you're really nice to the person who you don't want to talk to, they're gonna keep talking to you. You just be like, yeah. And then, you know, those keep talking, and they won't stop, and that's not right, because if you don't say no, then you won't be able to, like, kind of let them know how you feel. Don't dance around your words and kind of just be honest, you know? So you might have to be an asshole at some point, because, you know, sometimes people just can't take the hint, and you have to actually tell them to, like, just leave me alone, go away, be really serious about it. Yeah, I mean, that's self-explanatory, so don't be afraid to be mean, because this is a convention. You see this person maybe once a year, if that. You're among like 23,000 people. I mean, so what if like they end up being angry at you and hating you? You can just walk to the other side and you'll be like blending in with the rest of the crowd. So like, don't be afraid to hurt someone's feelings, because otherwise you'd be sacrificing your own well-being.
And if they're a real problem, come find one of us and strike up.
Don't tell them which hotel you're staying at. The thing that will happen, the most likely thing that will happen, hey, yeah, I'm staying at the Hilton. Oh man, me too, yeah, I'm having a party tonight. You should come over, my room is 701. I'm allergic to parties. I can't, I broke my hip, so I can't go anywhere. You know, you gotta just, you know, don't tell anybody what your hotel room is, or else you'll have to come up with excuses for not wanting to go visit them. Yeah. And be honest and blunt. You know, don't dance around your words. Be like her. Shut up, shut up, shut up. You know, don't be like, yeah. You know, be honest, be straightforward, and tell them how it is. Don't be afraid to, because it's very empowering too, to be able to like take command of the situation and be like, well, stop talking to me, or like, go away, F you. in case, you know, you do end up being stalked and there's nothing you can do to get out of it. There's some things you can do, some measures you can take. Have really scary friends. So yeah, if you have a really big friend who's dressed up as Gato from Ghost in the Shell, or like just a really big buff dude, or maybe a really loud small girl who's like, get away from my friend or I'll beat the crap out of you, or something like that, you know, like one of those crazy fangirls. So if you have a crazy fangirl for a friend, you know, this is a good situation to make them get rid of their kind. Or buy a gun, something. You know, they're really useful. And use your cosplay props effectively. So you have a spear? Well, poke. You know? Yeah, so, I mean, like, I'm not seriously, like, telling you guys to go and do violence and stuff, but, I mean, what? Also, this is a really big thing, and it happens a lot at cons, and it's a really big problem, and some people don't really realize how easy they can draw in this kind of like fanboys, fangirls, and like just bad negative attention. Stop wearing skimpy outfits. Yes, there's a reason he's talking to you, and it's not because you're interesting, it's because of your massive tracts of land. So we're going to do this the ESL way. For those of you who don't know how to say no, this is a way to learn. For those of you who do know, this is good practice. So repeat after the screen. This is how to say no level 1. You don't like the person, they just started talking to you, and you kind of want to be nice and tell them to like, hey, I'm not interested. This is how to say it. So repeat after the screen. No thanks. I'm not interested. Sorry. All right. Nice and straightforward, and kind of didn't really leave any room to say, well, I mean, if you want to come meet, you're like, no, I'm going with my friends, you know. So this is how to say no level 2. They didn't get the hint, so you have to be more straightforward. No, I'd rather go alone. No, you can't come along. Will you please stop following me? I'm sorry, I don't feel comfortable around you. I have better things to do right now. Alright, so they really didn't get the hint, and they really don't know that you don't want to be around them, and they keep following you, and they keep talking about their fan fiction, and they keep looking at your breasts, and they keep doing all those fanboy, fangirl things that, you know, all the stalker things. So you have to be really blunt, mean, and repeat after the screen. No! Go away! Get away from me! Back off! I will hear you in the mind. This is what you're doing. This is what I want you to do. You're wasting 5 minutes of my life. Here's a reporter. Call someone who cares. I want to hear this louder, guys. I want everyone in the hallway to be like, what's going on? Why are people being mean? What have you done to the kid? This guy. Poor girl. Well, though, if all else fails... Okay. So if all else fails, and this person won't leave you alone and keeps following you, keeps texting you, well, you can turn this around and use it to your advantage. And I know this is probably really wrong, but when push comes to shove, you gotta push back, and you gotta go and do things for yourself, you know? Get them to buy stuff for you from the dealership. Oh man, I really want these cat ears, but they're can also introduce you to your future spouse. I mean, if they have cool friends, and that one of those friends happens to be this really awesome chick, and you really want to get to know her, you get her number, things happen, you guys date, you get married, have kids, and have a Star Wars wedding. Or they can keep you company if you went to the con a lot. I've gone to a lot of conventions alone. I didn't hang out with I didn't bring anybody with me, which sucks a lot because walking around a convention alone and kind of cheering at things by yourself is not fun. So meeting people there is really nice. Even if they are kind of creepy, eventually maybe you'll warm up to them and they'll be nice. Yeah.
How do you do that? How do you do it alone? Without a hotel?
Well, what happened was the people who I was staying in a hotel with, I didn't know them. They were strangers from a friend of a friend of a friend. So, and also they were doing their own thing, cosplaying in their cosplay group or something like that. So yeah, I didn't really have anybody to hang out with. I was walking around the convention alone. So meeting people is, regardless of how they might be, if you're straightforward and frank with them, then how can you not make friends? Unless they're really, really mean and vicious, and you should just get away from them fast and tell them they're being mean. But you can also find a new friend in them. As I said, if this person is awkward at first, or they're following you around first, eventually maybe after I don't know, half an hour after the whole con, you realize that they're actually really nice and really cool, and I might want to become friends with them. So fanboys are people too. They're actually really genuinely nice people. They're really honest. They're really good. It's just they don't have very good social skills, and there's not much they can do about it. But that's why people come to these cons, so they can meet other people of the same kind. So if you kind of just keep an open mind and you choose wisely, you can really find good friends at cons. And the fangirl craziness is just a phase. The whole squealing and yowing and forcing you to do things you don't want to is just around maybe 15 years old to about 20 years old. And then after that they realize, I'm going to be mature now. Maybe. I mean, this is not guaranteed for all girls, but if you see this fangirl every year at every con, chances are in a few years, she might actually be she might actually be dateable, or she can become a good friend, different things like that. So, but on another note, here's a rejection hotline if anyone wants to hear it. There's Albany, Buffalo, Long Island, New York, and all this other stuff. I don't think I have Maryland on here, do I?
No, we're out of Washington.
Sorry. Well, I mean, the closest thing would be Atlanta. I don't know. Give them a number. Anyone want to take these down? You can take them down. You go to the rejectionhotline.com website thing. So yeah. So I would like some people to share their stories. If they have any crazy stalker thing that happened in the past, I would love for you to share it because it'd be absolutely hilarious. If you can step up to the mic. Have the short person use the tall mic. Alright, yeah, please share your story about your stalker that happened. Or maybe you stalked, I don't know.
No, I don't stalk. I am usually the stalked. Okay. The big thing is, every year I cosplay as Mama Sama. For those of you who know who he is, congratulations. For those of you who don't, look him up. But every year I'm him, and I had this crazy stalker fangirl in the dealer's room. I didn't even know she was following me until I looked back, and there she was. And I thought I lost her. I went over to the lunch, which is over the skyline, in the mall. She's sitting 2 tables away from me. Then I found her again in Artist Alley, in the dealer's room again later that day, and she grabbed on the back of my jacket trying to get my attention, and I ended up having a line of at least 15 of her friends following me. Because this crazy fan chick attracted more crazy fan chicks. And I could not get away.
So what did they want? Did they just want to follow you? Did they want your picture?
They were Monosama fans, like, and they were Gopt fans. And they like followed me everywhere for 2 days. Because they waited outside. The crazy psycho chick waited outside the front doors until I showed up in the light rail.
Oh man, that's
And
crazy.
as soon as I walked in, she's like, oh my god, it's her! And called all her friends. It was scary. I finally had to like get security to make her leave me alone. And security only told her, you know, you have to leave her alone. People throw you out of the con. So she stayed at least 5 feet behind me for the rest of the con. Her and like this group of fangirls, and that was when you used to be able to carry the sign around.
Oh.
And they had the sign going, Mana, we love you. Mana, will you marry me?
Oh my god.
I had one propose to me. Okay? I'm telling you.
Wow, that's severe fangirlism. That's a really good example of like when fangirls go crazy because you're not actually Monosama, but they like completely put their reality onto your reality and
The scary thing was I had a trainee propose last year too, who thought I actually was Mana. Because Mana is a guy who cosplays as a girl.
Oh, wow.
And they're like, oh my god,
Wow,
it's Monosama.
that's intense.
It's like, turn sideways, no, don't notice the triple D breasts. No, I'm not actually a guy.
Oh wow, well thank you so much. Does anyone else have stalker stories? Please go up.
I've collected stalker stories over the years, actually, but I'll give you one. I used to go to Icon when I was in high school. I was 15 at the time, and I would go to see End of Evangelion for like the 5th time I've seen it now. And so suddenly I sit next to this guy, and I realize that he's staring at me. And I'm like, okay, hi, how are you? Because meanwhile I'm dressed up as Asuka during this time. Really bad idea. So I'm like, okay, hi, how are you? Hi. So then he starts this whole conversation with me throughout the entire movie while I'm watching the movie. He tells me how, he's like, oh yeah, so I'm 24 and
I'm Aquarius.
yeah, he tells me how, you know how in the middle of the End of Evangelion you hear the whole, you know, leave me alone, go away, all of that. Yeah, he's like, I've heard all of that before from every girl I've known. And I'm like, gee, I wonder why. So as I walk in, I managed to go to the dealer's room. He bought me a couple things at the dealer's room. So, but finally, where I'm on the line for the masquerade, and he's telling me how he's like, yeah, I've dated girls who are your age, and really age is just a number. You know, here's my number. Can I have yours? No. Hi, I'm leaving. Bye.
Well, but look at that. You really took control of the situation. I mean, you got him to buy you stuff, which is awesome. But you were able to say like, no, go away, leave me alone, seriously. Yeah. No. That's really good. Thank you. Yeah, Icon. Speaking of Icon, the reason why I made this panel was because of a guy in Icon. Actually, he might be here today. Hold on. All right. Well, because I told him about this panel, I hope he doesn't come. Oops. All right. So this basically, I was at Icon, and my friend was dressed up as Lulu, and I was dressed up as Raleigh Vincent from Gunsmith Cats. We're at the brown coats meeting for Firefly, and I'm walking around, and he comes up to me and he's like, hey, what are you dressed as? I think I've seen it before. I'm like, I'm Raleigh Vincent from Gunsmith Cats. He's like, oh, that's really cool. And I'm like walking away, and I'm going to go sit down. And then he comes around again and starts talking to me and is like trying to make a conversation. And I'm just like, oh, that's cool. And he's pretty cool, like kind of, but he's good at carrying conversation. But I would rather hang out with my friends. And then he finds out that my friend is Lulu, you know? And then he eventually starts appearing at all of the panels that we're going to, and appearing where she's having her cigarette break for some reason. And she ends up having to talk to him because she can't finish her cigarette fast enough. And he just like keeps trying to make conversation, keeps talking, and is like being flirty. So we decide to escape to a place where he probably will not find us, a belly dancing panel. He was at the belly dancing panel. So this guy really did follow us around, and by the time that I noticed that he was following us around, he stopped following us around, which was like after the belly dancing panel. So I wasn't able to go up to him and be like, please stop following us, you're like being really creepy. So that went well fine, you know, we didn't see him for the rest of the con, he didn't really follow us. And then Anime Boston a couple of weeks ago, I was sitting at my Artist Alley table, and this guy comes up with like kind of curly longish hair, and I'm like, hey, do you want to buy a shirt? And he like, you know, kind of like, ah, blah, blah, blah. And then he looks at me, he's like, hey, do I know you from somewhere? I'm like, I don't know. He's like, did you go to Icon? I'm like, yes. And so yeah, he starts talking to me. He wants me to give him my email or my number or something to contact me because I make t-shirts, and he wanted me to make a custom t-shirt. And he stands there for about half an hour talking to me and comes back every once in a while, but he never buys anything from me, so it's starting to get really like annoying. And so I tell him like, oh yeah, I'm going to Otakon. Yeah, I'm running a panel there called No Means No, Defense Against Fanboys and Fangirls. And he's like, oh yeah, like how you met this guy at Icon and now I'm here. And I'm like, yeah, something like that. Yeah, so I think he's here. I hope he doesn't come into the panel. I hope he doesn't stand up right now if he is at the panel. But yeah, that's one of my stalking stories. Yes, please.
Have you ever started talking to somebody and you kind of found out that they didn't want you around? And that you were kind of like a preliminary stalker?
I think, yeah, that's actually happened to me a few times. I would like talk to some cosplayers, like maybe like a girl who's like really dressed up really well in a cosplay, and I'll be like, oh my god, that's so great, blah blah. I'll start talking, and she'll be like, yeah, I know I'm all that. Okay, so yeah, that has happened to me before. Yes.
They shouldn't freaking cosplay if they don't want to be talked to.
Yeah, I know, right? If they are cosplaying, especially something skimpy, I mean, of course they're gonna get attention. Why are you cosplaying anyway? You know, like.
If you're wearing no clothes, people are gonna look at you.
Exactly. That's why I like. Wait, where is that? Stop wearing skimpy outfits thing. Well, you gotta kind of just tell them straight on. If you call security, it's not from your voice. You gotta tell them straight on, turn around, look at them in the face, and be like, excuse me, I'm serious. Can you stop following me? This is really uncomfortable. And you gotta say it with the straightest face. You can't laugh about it. You can't be like, you know, guys, come on, like this is not. You can't be like that. You have to be like, seriously, stop. This is really creepy. Stop following me around. Don't you have better things to do? I want to go live my life now.
I slapped her.
You slapped her?
After being scolded all Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Oh my god, that's like a weird fetish type of thing. Oh my god, you want to someone slap me?
I drove you in girl this morning and got cloned by Pennsylvania.
Oh, look at that. Go on me. But I think actually at that point, it's not that they're fangirls, it's that they're purposely trying to harass you because of their own sick minds. They're like, hey yo, it's probably going to be really funny if we stalk somebody and kind of make them feel really awkward and just ruin their whole weekend, and all of their friends are going to be like, oh my god, that'd be such a great idea, let's go do it. So, yeah, that's probably one of those situations. So yeah, con security would be the best thing if you spot them and they still didn't listen. Does anyone have any other stalker stories to share? Yes?
Last year when I came to Otakon, I actually cosplayed as Dante from Devil May Cry, and it was the third one, you know, with the open coat and the leather pants. Albeit, yes, the leather pants were a little on the tight side. But I was sitting in the Otakon cafe. I'm just sitting there minding my own business and like see one person scooch really close, and I'm like, yo. And then fangirl number 2 comes up. Didn't know that she was behind me. I can start bleeding. She's like, okay. Fangirl number 3, same thing. She's I'm like, it's just cosplay. Yeah, just get away. Number 4, they start like encasing me slowly. I stand up, I'm like, okay, I'm leaving. Walk away. They followed me the whole day through the con, and by the end of the day, I was like literally running away from them. Like, they followed me. They would wait for me outside of the bathroom. They would wait for me outside of panels. They like wouldn't go into the panel, but they would like be waiting outside the door, like hiding. They'd be like, "Is he coming?" I'd see them look in because I'd look over my shoulder and like, oh crap, there's no exit. And so yeah, by the end of the day, I was like running away from them, and it was over by the fountains, and I stopped. Now, would you just stop following me? They're like, oh, we love you, Dante. This girl, she like did a flying leap towards me. Like, no joke, she was like, and I just went into the water. She flew into the water. All of the other girls were like,
She actually flew into the water, you're kidding me. That is like a miracle.
she was still flying me, and I was, I threw her to the, I was like, no, no. So by the next day, I was like, I'm not cosplaying again. But yeah, it was so weird because they just started encasing me, and like I went, like no matter where I went, even outside of the con, they were. The worst part was they were in my hotel room.
What? How did they get there?
Oh no, like my friend got them in or something, but like I went to the hotel room, I'm like, I want to go to sleep. You know, it was like 2 in the morning. I'm like, I just walk around like, no.
Oh, wow.
And my friend, he's like, hey, you got some fangirls. I'm like, I'm killing you.
That's really intense. That's hilarious too. I wish I could have seen him fall into the water fountain.
It's like, I wish I could just have video.
Yeah, that's like a miracle because that never happens, and everyone wishes that they could do that. You know, like.
No, like she didn't get hurt, but she was like soaking wet. She's like, oh, my cell phone. That's where all of her Dante pictures were.
Of you?
Like, I think there was something. Like, I actually like got their account like banned on Facebook.
They found you on Facebook?
I got them banned. They found me right after the con and they posted up a picture. Bad idea. And they're like, oh my god, it's Dante. I just went, no. And I contacted the media and I'm like, yeah, there's some naughty pictures on Facebook. You need to ban their account. Weird stalkers.
Well, that was actually a really good story. I'm probably going to end up using that. Is that copyrighted by any chance? No. So does anyone else have like any crazy stalker stories? At all? No person like follow up? Yeah, come up to the microphone. This is great material for me in the future, you know that, right? Just you guys.
Absolutely. I'll tell the short version, which is just the lessons I've learned. Be careful at the rave, because dancing with someone apparently to some people tells them that you're interested in a long-term relationship. I met up with this one girl, and she's pretty cool, you know, with a lot of music on, no conversation. And after I found out that her friend was on E, I was like, yeah, I'm probably gonna leave. She followed me out of the rave and kinda socially manipulated me into getting, my phone number. So that's step 1, mistake 1, never give your phone number to everyone you don't feel comfortable with. Then she proceeded to, for the rest of the con, and then 2 months afterwards, send me pretty much daily text messages. She somehow found my MySpace account, and was messaging me on that, and I was like trying to ignore her. And then, my last name is on MySpace, so I figured my Facebook was safe. I don't really use MySpace anymore. She went to my friends list on MySpace, found one that had Facebook, and then found my Facebook from that.
Oh, wow. That's intense.
And like, I just had to keep denying her friend requests every time she sent them. And the worst part is she's a regular congoer, so every time I go to the rave now, at here or at a couple of the other cons that are in the area, I have to make sure she's not around. Because I actually have run into her before and, restarted the whole stalking.
Oh my god. Well, have you tried being absolutely frank with her and
Like, thankfully, I haven't had any face-to-face contact with her in a while, because whenever I see her, I duck out. And the last time she did message me on the internet, I was like, I'm sorry, I'm not interested.
Yeah.
Yeah. So be careful with it.
Oh yeah.
Oh, sorry, where? Oh! No, I changed my phone number.
Thank you so much. So yeah, I didn't think that things as like simple as that would happen, but I guess it does, and you're just dancing with them and they think long-term relationship. That's pretty intense. So, you have one?
Alright, I'll do mine. This is more just a funny line. I dated this girl 3 years ago. This isn't related to fangirls. Well, I guess she's a personal fangirl. I dated her for 3 weeks, 3 years ago. I got a text message Thursday night that said, "Hey, what's up?" And I said, "I told you never to contact me again." "What did I ever do wrong to you?" "You stalked me digitally for 3 years." It's not stalking. You gave me your phone number." "What? Is that how it works?" So don't give your phone number out.
Yeah, no, number one rule. Yes.
Alright, so this is not my personal story, but me and my friends organized a small con for our college. Names and locations permitted for all those involved. And we have an issue repeatedly every year with this kid who stalks one of our staffers. And I'll just give you the worst incident that we had, because there were many. We had a date auction every single year, and the staff had to pull their money to stop this kid from buying the girl at the date auction, and it got to be in the hundreds of dollars because he was so persistent. And we finally had to just no, you stop the auction, it's over. So that was the worst stalker story I've had during my staffing years, but we've seen a lot. Dating auction? Hey.
Awesome. Does anyone else have any stories?
Just a quick thing, don't go near fangirl yaoi paddles.
Yeah, don't go to yaoi panels. If you're a guy and you go to a yaoi panel, they're going to assume that you like yaoi too and then you're yaoi in real life. So beware yaoi panels if you're a guy.
They hurt. 2 years ago, I had a fangirl come up to me.
Alright, awesome. So, does anyone, is there any in the back? Yes. Yeah, come on please.
So basically, it was my freshman year of college, like the first week, and I was reading a manga on the bench. And this guy's like, "You read manga? You love anime?" And I'm like, "Well, I like it a little bit." And then the next thing I know, later that evening, he finds my email address. It's like, "I have this Naruto game on the GameCube. I want you to play." So I'm like, "Okay, this is new. I don't know a lot of people on campus, so I'll go." And basically, we played Naruto for 3 hours. I was just like, okay. And then he just kind of follows me around the campus for basically the rest of the year. Like one time I was opening my door and I saw a shadow behind me. I look around and there he is, like, hi. And he basically does it to everyone. If you look Asian, he'll stop you. If you like eating pocky, he'll stop you. So it was kind of strange. And I ended up studying abroad in Japan. He wanted to study abroad too. He ended up not doing it. I don't know if the school decided to discourage him or what, but...
Yeah, thank God, because you'd be in a foreign country. No.
So yeah, that's pretty much much my story. You're reading a manga and someone asks if you like anime, like the manga.
No. No. It's like, really serious. No.
Someone acknowledge it.
Yes.
So my boyfriend's telling me no, but I feel very obliged to tell the story.
Oh, it's about him.
No. But this girl, luckily she's not here. The angel sang when I found out she blew all her money at Anime Boston. But I've gone to school with this girl since I was in 2nd grade. It started with Nickelodeon cartoons. And ever since the 2nd grade, she has ruined every single fandom I've come into. Like I said, it started with the Nickelodeon cartoon, then when I came to the anime, it became Seiyuki. I was like, ooh, this is cool, they're shooting people. And then, oh my god! It's Sanzo! La 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 la! And after that, I just kept getting worse. She started cosplaying in school when it wasn't Halloween, and I can understand wearing maybe the jacket or the accessory or something like it, full on uniform, wig, props, to school. It wasn't Halloween. It was April. So luckily she's a couple years older than me, she graduates. My boyfriend runs into her on the community college campus, and she starts to follow him around and comes up with every excuse to cosplay again. She apparently sprained her ankle, came to school in a giant blazer and a cane and an empty pill bottle and called herself Dr. House. All in all, 2 weeks later, I found her on CGL. Her picture was posted in a thing about annoying weeaboos.
Wait, what's CPL?
It's 4chan's cosplay board.
So this is less about anime cons and more about college. I went to orientation at my school. It was actually the first day of school, and at my school they had they did like this big event and they had DDR there. And there was this kid playing DDR and being like, yeah, I really like DDR, I'm really good at it. And I'm like, yeah, I'm kind of impressed, I play DDR too. So then he starts this entire conversation with me about DDR. So I'm like, okay, that's pretty cool. And suddenly I started to notice something. He started to follow me around everywhere. We didn't have classes together or anything. And I used to LARP, and suddenly, he played a revival game on campus, and we were both on different things. And suddenly I started to notice that when I used to go to these games, I started to see him around a lot. And he'd start following me, and following me, and following me, until in May, we're in the middle of the forest, and there he is, in the middle of the forest. I don't understand it. The next year, they let him play. And they're like, oh, be really nice to him. He's just really misunderstood, blah, blah, blah. So I quit because I was sick of this shit. And then, at the end of the semester, or at the end of the year, he was arrested for setting fire to all of the elevator shafts on campus.
Wait, really? I didn't know that.
That was him, yeah.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
That was him?
Yeah.
Oh man, that's hilarious! No, you guys don't understand, this guy was so good at DDR, he did it backwards with invisible on, and he'd just be like, well, not looking at the screen, and it was crazy, and he would always DDR, and then when he couldn't DDR, he would sit with his laptop outside and play Flash, and everyone would be really impressed in school, but no, he did it every day, and he was president of the DDR club. He only had
No, he had
3 members.
one member.
He had one member. And yeah, this guy was crazy. Yeah. Okay. Yes. So this will be the last story. After this, we'll have Q&A. If you guys want Q&A.
This basically went from phone stalking to online stalking because, when I first got my phone, I got my number. I went home at 3 o'clock in the morning. Someone called me, and I was like, who who in the world would call me? I don't even give anyone my phone number yet. So there's this guy, he's like, hey, is this Izzy? I was like, no. It's like, sorry, I have the wrong number. I close the phone. 20 minutes later, he calls me, he's like, are you sure this isn't Izzy? I'm like, yes, it's not freaking Izzy. I shut the phone again. This time, I got a different voice. It was like 2 weeks ago. He sounded almost exactly like my friend John. No lie. So I was like, hey John, what's up? Yada, yada, yada. I told him all this stuff. He was just like, yeah. And I was like, okay. And then he asked me, hey, I just forgot something. How do you spell your name? So I was like, John, I think I told you this before. So I spelled my name out. Yes, Oh, by the way, I know you like anime and whatnot. So what's your favorite anime? I was like, John, this is basic common sense right now. So I tell him all of this stuff. I hang up the phone. I go on Facebook about a week later, and then my friend Rachel, she emails me, she's like, Ty, do you have a boyfriend? I was like, no. It's like, why? It's like, she sends me this link, not a link, but like, tells me about this boy who has, on the thing, I forgot what it was, when I was college, he has every little bit of my information on there. My name, saying, I'm seriously in love with this girl, she's this, she's that, she's this. And then apparently he's my friend Rachel's friend, and we talk about everything. He actually put my cup size on there, not saying it out loud, so it was embarrassing. I was like, what the fuck? So I actually go on his page, I was about this close to yelling at him, so I saw his picture, I was like, oh damn, that man is sexy. Pervert one night, I had to delete my Facebook, be like, this is all just a bad dream, and he never called me again, and hopefully his stalking days are over. That was it.
He really was a really hot guy.
Huh?
What if he was a really hot guy?
I wasn't going to risk it.
We have 5 minutes left. Do you guys have any questions about anti-stalking for those of you who came late, who have problems with stalking, don't know what to do? Yes?
Before it gets too serious, what's the kindest way to turn them away but still be firm?
Kindest way to turn them away. Well, like if they just like talk to you and they won't stop talking, you'll be like, well, yeah, that's really cool. Look, I really gotta go somewhere. I'm really sorry, but you know, it's really nice meeting you. I gotta go. Bye. And don't kind of let them butt in and say, well, let me follow you, or like let me go with you, or let's go somewhere. Be like, I'm just gonna like just like say bye and don't even turn around. Don't let them. Don't be like, wait, what did you say? Like you know, you're not really, you know, don't give them any room. So just dash that way. Like, I mean, it's not hard to be nice, but it is hard to say no. So kind of mix that together and be like, no, sorry, I'm not interested, bye. Yes?
Yeah, my brother, he had a stalking and she told me about it, and his whole parents, they're still in school and everything, and she's still kind of stalking. He's kind of a stalker, he doesn't really have actions. For something like that, what would be the best way to turn against him?
Well, the best way would probably be someone who's very close to him, who knows him very well, and she knows that he knows him very well. It'd probably be you to go tell her to stop talking.
I don't know if she wants me to do it.
I mean, you know, like if you can be intimidating for your brother and you can be honest for your brother, just go tell her off and tell her like, look, leave my brother alone. Or I mean, you can try and like tell your brother, like kind of like just teach your brother to defend himself.
He doesn't want me to do it.
Well, it's either or. He's losing his like personal privacy, his personal space, and his like his own like comfort for being nice. Yes.
Do you have any advice for stalkers on how to tell whether the person is not interested in you?
If they nod a lot and they say and they say yeah, and they're not really contributing to the conversation, chances are they don't know what to say and they kind of just want you to go away because they don't know how to say no. So kind of just keep how would I say this? Like keep like listen really well to what they're saying, and not just talk about yourself, but kind of like ask them about them, or talk about other stuff, talk about worldly matters, like not just talk about yourself. But I mean,
you know, like the best way is to just like listen to their voice to see if they are actually replying in the way that you think that you want them to. Like, you know, they're saying like, oh my god, yeah, and I really want to talk to you about stuff. Yes.
In your opinion, in your experience, what is the number one best way to identify a stalker?
All of the stuff that was on this panel, did you miss it?
Yeah.
Best way to identify a stalker, who's a girl. She's really loud, she's really crazy, she squeals, she has a yaoi obsession, she's trying to impose her reality on your reality, and she won't stop following you.
I got one to ask you that one. Since you didn't tell me both of them in practice,
Alright, well, guys, I'm sorry, we run out of time, so I really can't, sorry. So